What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And it's here, it's over, it finally happened. The Nintendo Switch reveal presentation just wrapped up, and I've got some good stuff to say, and I got some bad stuff to say, but let's start off with the informative stuff first. So after the presentation, we definitely know the launch price. Here in the United States, it'll be $299. It's at 299 yen in Japan, and it's probably going to be somewhat close to the equivalent of that in the majority of places that is going to launch, and it will launch simultaneously on March 3rd in the majority of the places it'll be sold at. It looks like they are already taking pre-orders in some places, and as usual, follow the rule. Pre-order hardware because you can always return or even sell at a profit the hardware. Never pre-order software because you can't return it if it sucks. They said during the presentation that the battery life should be between 2.5 hours to 6 hours depending on the game that you're playing. So statistically speaking, expect 2.5, maybe 3 hours of gameplay from most of the games you'll play on it. It looks like you can charge and play when it's inside the dock. You can also charge and play it with it in your hands as long as you plug in with the included AC adapters, so that's good. The base set seems to only come with a device, everything you need to power it, everything you need to hook it up, the docking station, and of course 2 Joy-Con controllers, though there is an optional bundle that costs exactly the same that has 2 colored Joy-Con controllers rather than just the standard black. Unfortunately, there were no confirmed technical specs. There was no telling about SD cards or the size of SD cards it can use. They didn't tell you what the internal memory on it was like. You didn't get to learn about processor speed or the definition of the screen or what it puts out when it's putting out at the television. They basically ignored that completely, but I think with tomorrow's event in New York, there's going to be continuing information leaking out. So follow me on social media. I'll talk about it as I learn that stuff there. And now for the really good stuff. I think the price point is fine. I love the launch date. I'm excited to get a hold of it. There are a handful of games that they showed that make me excited. Obviously, Splatoon 2 looks absolutely fantastic. I just want more Splatoon. And if I can play Splatoon on the go, I'm going to be very happy about that. New arenas, new costumes, new weapons. Then they showed a 3D Mario game that looks like, to me, about as exciting for this launch as the N64 title was for that launch. I mean, this game blew me away. This is exactly the 3D Mario title I wanted. It showed him jumping in some beautiful landscapes. The graphics looked amazing. The physics looked really, really good. It even showed him jumping around on cars, off of cars, into light posts and stuff in downtown New York. I don't know what all that's about, but I can't wait to find out. Unfortunately, that's not a launch title. And I think that's terrible that it's not a launch title because it won't be out until fall of that year. I think that should have been the launch title. I wish that had come bundled with the system or with some systems. Not going to be the case, though. Then they did confirm that Legend of Zelda will drop on March the 3rd, and this is both a good and a bad thing. Number one, it's coming out for the Wii U at the same time, at least unless they've canceled that. I don't think that they have. So the people that own a Wii U will probably still play it there. That way you don't have to rush out and buy a Switch. I will try to get the Switch that day and try to play it on the system. But I worry that that game is not as complete as it could be. I really, really worry about that because it's such a big project and it was such a short development time. It feels like I hope the game is as good and complete as it possibly can be on March the 3rd, but that is pretty much the only launch title that looked even remotely interesting to me based on this small 1-hour presentation. I will have to admit, though, the Zelda trailer they showed at the end of the presentation, I cried. Then, of course, one of the reasons the Wii U got trounced is because it didn't have third-party support and obviously the technical specs. And we still don't know the technical specs here, but third-party support seems to be coming along. They had several people from several different companies, some who seem to be begrudgingly participating, like the folks over at Sega. But there was a good number of third-party titles being introduced, like obviously Skyrim, which was shown in the initial commercial. And for whatever reason, Todd Howard and Bethesda decided to gaslight and say that it wasn't on the system. Well, it's finally confirmed. There were a few other games like Project Octopath, which just looks really weird to me. And even like EA is putting FIFA on the system. And I know that's not going to mean a lot to Nintendo's core audience, but the people who love FIFA might love finally being able to play FIFA on the go. If you look at some of the little outro movies they did where they show like compilations of different video games that might be on the system or going to be on the system, you can pick out a lot of different titles and a lot of different franchises that you'll be excited to see, like Tetris and Sonic and Bomberman and stuff like that. There are a lot of different games that were showing up in that little montage. They did not spend near enough time talking about the games, specifically the launch games, to get people like me excited. They did actually waste quite a bit of their time on something that I kind of hated. Nintendo really Nintendo'd this one. It's so bizarre to me how how disconnected they can be from gamers, because they showed off all of this weird stuff that the system can do, how the Joy-Con controller can use HD haptic feedback to provide the feel of a drink and ice cubes being inside of it. Why? They spent a very large portion of their time showing off a game called 1-2 Switch, which is some sort of reaction-based game and where you use the little Joy-Con controllers to do whatever. They showed another weird punching fighting game that you use the Joy-Con controllers to do, where you extend your arms and, I don't know, motion controls. I don't know why they still think we want motion controls. We're well past that at this point, Nintendo, but that seemed to be what they wanted. No mention of VR, plenty of motion controls though. But if it does turn out that those motion controls are really good for whatever VR offering they have, I'll eat my words. Hell, I'll eat anything. And then they mentioned something called the Nintendo Online Service, which my best guess is it's going to work something similar to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. I imagine there's probably some sort of games that you can mess with that you get for free as part of the system. They mentioned that you can connect to the Nintendo online service via any mobile device to set up play dates and stuff like that, which is interesting. All I really care about is I want a Nintendo account that I can tie my digital downloads to in case I ever need to send off or sell or even just drop my Switch, so I'll still own my games. I really, really want that, Nintendo. No more friend codes, no more bullshit, just my name connected to a Nintendo account that I can connect my games to. Please just do that. If I have to pay a monthly fee for it, I'll do it if I have to. I hope I don't have to, but I will. So based solely off of this one presentation and comparing it to some of the rumors I already know and some of the other stuff, I can say that I think this is a very, very impressive piece of hardware. And I think they know that, and I think that's their selling point. The problem is the software really isn't there, even though there's a Zelda game, and I will buy it exclusively for that Zelda game so I can play it when I'm waiting at a doctor's office or the DMV or whatever. But that said, I'm frustrated because the games that are there are so far out. There's nothing too exciting at launch. I'm hoping that over the next couple of days, especially with the event in New York tomorrow, we'll get a lot more details because we really, really need more details, Nintendo, specifically technical specs. Without technical specs, you can't expect people to buy a machine if you don't tell them what's inside the machine. You just can't. Ask Francis, he'll tell you. Nintendo continues to prove that they're just a few steps behind of what consumers actually want. And again, there was no real mention of that in this service. But I won't lie, they've made an incredibly cool toy, an incredibly cool piece of technology that I really, really am eager to see what people will do with it. It's just they've got to be able to convince enough consumers to buy it so that people will do cool stuff with it. I don't want another Wii U situation here, and as it is right now, I'm pretty apprehensive because it's seeming a little bit too Wii U-ish. The good news is, though, the hype still seems to be there, and I bet it'll still be alive in the comment section below, and I hope that it is, because if the hype is still there, then people will still buy the console. Hopefully it'll have good technical specs. Hopefully it'll turn out to have a better software lineup than we currently know about. I'm eager to find that out over the next few days, and if that all works out, then we'll get a lot of people developing for the console, and if we do that, well, then, we have a third console. And that's what I really think we really need right now. We need a third console to compete with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And I really, really desperately want Nintendo to be those people. Because that Mario game looks insane. That Mario game looks insane. And that Zelda game looks insane. I want to play this game so bad. Oh, please. Succeed, Nintendo, please. But as usual, that's just one man's opinion, and we are not one, we are many, so let me know what you think in the comments section below. Was this video informative? Did it help? Have you seen the Switch info? Let me know, just basically, if you want me to do more videos about the Switch as we learn more information, I probably will. But that said, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. I'm sorry for the lack of uploads this week. But I promise next week I'll try to switch it up.